Hello and a warm welcome to a short presentation of the new Matukio 3 version. Matukio 3 is a large jump bringing many awesome changes, including the desired different trees. Let's start by installing the extension, which as always come with an prepared all-in-one package, bringing not only the extension but also all available models and plugins for Matukio 2. For this presentation I am using a Joomla 3.2 installation, but of course Matukio works also with Joomla 2.5. So I selected the zip archive and just click upload and install. This is a clean installation. And as you can see, you have this quick instructions after the installation and the link to the much bigger documentation. So, first thing you need is, as always, a category. Let's create one. Most times you only fill out the title, maybe the alias because it's used in some search engine friendly URLs. The rest can stay as it is. If you like, you can also insert an image or something like that the description is currently ignored. Access levels are working, so you can have categories for a special user group. Default is public, so everybody can see it, guests, not logged in people, and so on. After that we just click on save and close, but let me create another one. And we save the whole form. So after creating some categories, we go on and start creating our new events. As you can see, many things have changed in this form. You can see it in this address bar. We changed the complete backend to the MVC scheme, allowing to enable modern, redundant applications, a complete new workflow, make it much more easy to administer and manage your events and your bookings. We are completely bootstrapped now. No more tables, no more old tables, just the new ones. You have much more options here. You can filter with much more columns and do many other things here in the backend. That's the first thing you will notice when you're on a Joomla 3 installation, how much the backend has changed. So let's go on. Let's create a new event. As you can see, this whole interface also changed. We have this new nice yes, no radio buttons. We also have as form validation, so as you can see, if I don't fill it out and click and save, invalid file title. So you're never going to miss something again. So let's create an event. First we create a free event. There's nothing new about it, at least not much. Let's say we started in 1 month. And we have a nice short brief description. Here's also something new. If you have locations, you can now create them in the backend. Just select it here and you don't have to type anything down here. And also have nice detailed pages for them. But we're going to come back to that later. Currently we just type in a normal location, let's say Munich, Germany, for example. Organizer, we just keep it super user. It's no webinar. We'll say we have 20 participants. Max bookable spaces 3. A long description, it's as always here, here haven't many things changed. Just for later. The new parts are coming here, starting with taxes. We currently haven't set up any taxes. We're going to do that soon. Starting with different fees. Two new important things. We come back later to that. So, I wanted to be free, that one free. Of course, it's a hot event. The other two things haven't changed much. We have that new override for the different fees, but I'm going to show that a bit later. So as always, we now have created an event. As you can see, most features are the same as in the old version, but we have a much more reworked interface, complete bootstrap, and many other nice things. So before creating another paid event, we're first going to set up our tax rates, different fees, and some other small things, and the location, so you can see all the changes Matukio 3 brings. Let's start with the organizer. I just overwrite my own user account. Maybe it's nice if the emails come to another address. This address is also shown in some parts. You don't have to provide overrides here. If you don't provide them, the default Joomla user and the default Joomla email would be used. Whatever you prefer, you can set up here. So, save and close that one. We need that later. So, after that we're going to create a location. That's new in Matukio 3. As you have organizer pages, you now can have location pages. If you have, let's for example say, always only one location, you just create it here, set it as default. Never have to write the place again, and you can have a nice detailed page presenting your location if you want. So let's create a new location. Location name, what do we take? We take, for example, the Nymphenburg Palace. That's a nice site view here in Munich. There are also many events, so we're going to show them here. Location is what is shown in the front end. The title is used on some places, location on others. Here you could have an address, for example. That's a shown address. So type that here. I just tried it out. Google Maps also likes the same thing like in the location, but most time you type here an address which is working with Google Maps. So you could type here a location phone or something like that. You can simply an email address and of course a website. So, as always, this text is completely for you, and that's what's the focus on the page is also. The image isn't shown on the location page itself. It's used for some thumbnails and on other small spots, but it isn't shown in the front end on the location page. For that, we have the description. That's your content. We only add a small right sidebar with some of the info here. If you keep it empty, it is completely hidden, so you don't have to insert this data. You could just use the description to show whatever you like. I'm just going to save that. At last field you have as always the comments. The comments are intent. They are not going to be shown anywhere in the front end. So we save and close this, and before we use it in our second event, we're going to create also tax rates and different fees. So let's create a new text rate. Here in Germany, for example, we have 19% text rate. So I will just put in a value 19.0 and set it to published, and we just save it. This title is shown on the invoice and in some other places, but mostly to identify the text value. So that's it. Maybe you have two text values, no problem. Let's just create another. So now we have two text rates, and we can use them now in the events. They are immediately used for calculating ticket pricing and so on. With Matukio 3.1, which also probably comes this year, we're going to have invoice generation or advanced invoice generation, and for that we need the taxes, and we're going to include them to create nice and legal invoices. So we created the tax rates. Next, we create different fees. Different fees are some like coupons. I click on New, and the fee title is shown in the front end. Let's start by creating some discount for children. Children are getting 20%. As you see, we write not 0.20, no, we write 20%. So next thing is we can set if we want that in percent or if we want that as a direct cash value. For example, if you have a fee, let's say $50, and have 20%, you have a discount 12. If you set in percent to no, you have a discount of $20 directly subtracted from the value. So I would suggest you mostly use percent values, but it's all up to you. These are the global different fees, so they are for all events except you're going to override them. How this is going, I'm going to show you in the event creation. So for now, we're going to keep that in percent value set to yes, so we have a 20% discount for children. Next setting is we say, is this a discount or not? So is it subtracted or added to the amount of value? So you can also have fees which are more expensive than the normal fee. As you may be known from the coupons, you now can set how long the fee is valid. In our case, we just keep it that way. I'm going to show another fee now in seconds. So I create another one. We make some early bird tickets. They bring, let's say, 30% also discount, but they are only valid from starting first. We could also choose today to the end of the year. After that, the fee won't be shown up in the list and won't be valid anymore. So it's just valid for 2 months. After that, it's automatically disabled and you can't work with it any further. So publish to yes, and we save that one too. You can have unlimited fees. These are for all events, except you're going to override them. So you can have event-specific fees where these are not working. But first, let's create an event with the things we just created. So we create a new event. Let's call it Present Your Events. we choose from the category and we let it start 1 year, in 1 year. So brief description. So, and now you're going to notice we can choose our location here. We don't have to fill anything out here. It's automatically inserted into the event now. We're going to have a look at it in the front end and then going to notice how it is working, and it is integrated into Matukio. So, organizer stays super user, it's no webinar. Again, 20 spaces, and now we allow, well, let's say 5 places to be able to book at per participant. You're going to see why we are doing this soon. So, well, let's keep that empty. The interesting settings are now, let's say, our event is going to cost $100. And now we choose the tax rate, so 19%, and we choose different fees, and of course it's a hot event. The rest we could keep empty. So I'm going to save that. And now we're going to look at the front end. And you're actually going to notice it very fast, the difference between Matukio 2.2 and that one. So, let's create an event list link and switch to the front end. So, I made them hot events boost red. If you choose top event, it's normal CSS is green, hot event red, and it adds that nice hot to the caption. First thing we're going to notice is that the organizer is underlined and a link. I created also an organizer page. If I click on it, you see that's the page I just created for myself. You can actually have any content in here you like. You can completely disable that right box. If you like, you can show. In default, it's turned on. This contact button allowing any person to contact your organizers. So let's go back. Second thing you are going to notice is this one. That's a new location, and if I click on it, I'm coming to the location page. You can have also any content in here created with what you see is what you get editor in Joomla. So, if you click on the map, as always, a nice map pop-up shows up, presenting the location in a nice Google Maps. In Matukio 3 we have cleaned up the interface, we have made some CSS changes, and now should work better on different devices. And we have some other CSS tweaks, we fixed some bugs, and much more. Let's change to this event. Here nothing has changed, or not much have been changed. One thing you're going to notice is that if you want, also the different fees are shown here. If you don't want, there's a setting in the back end, and it's only the normal ticket fee shown. So let's go to the booking form. This is, as always, we just fixed some bugs, we optimized the JavaScript code a bit, but the thing you're going to notice first is this this select. Here your users can book any tickets. For example, say I need 2 normal tickets for adults. Then yeah, we need 1 child ticket and we need 1 early bird ticket. Okay, in this case everybody would pick early bird, but that's another thing. The rest, I have some nice extension to fill out. Let's just fill out that one and remove that one. And have 2 early bird tickets and 3 children tickets. So we choose cash as default payment, and as you can see, this is directly calculated in the background, including the discounts for the different event ticket types. So I just click on paid booking. Firewall. And that's it. That's our booking. I just got an email and so on. So this is how easy it is to integrate different fees into Matukio 3. So, as I said before, I wanted to show you some other things which are new. Before, if you wanted to see your participants, you had to click here. That's still working. No problem, we're here now. But now you can also have a complete own view showing all participants, all bookings you ever had. Not only from one event, but from all at once. So you are not anymore limited to, for example, print a participants list per event. Now you can create a participants list including different events, multiple participants, and so on. So as you can see here, you can contact all participants at once. You can print a signature list for every selected booking you want. And you can have a participants list for every booking. So you can now easily choose which bookings you want to include where. And you are not anymore limited to one event. Of course, you can also only print a signature list, participants list for one event, but you could now do it for more at once. As you can see, this whole menu has changed. You can now filter bookings for all-time bookings, bookings in the last 24 hours, bookings in the last week, month, year, and so on. You can filter for active, not active bookings. You can filter for paid and not paid bookings. So if you want to see not paid bookings, to just click here and see everyone who has not paid. And you can, of course, like before, filter bookings for an event. It's automatically done if you hit here. As you can see, we have automatically chosen that event and with that booking. Editing a booking in the back end brings some nice new informations, like the booking ID, booking date, and the fees to pay. It's now shown in the nice information bar on the right. So as you can see, your participant has to pay $380, including $72 taxes and so on. You can change that ticket also in the backend. So if you say your participant calls, can we get another ticket for example, early bird? No problem, just add it here. Click on save and it automatically recalculates the amount And if you want, your participant gets an email with the changed payment information. So you can easily create, edit bookings here. And now you can also change and set the event of the booking. Sometimes that changed and you couldn't do that before, and many people said, we need that feature, now we have it. The next point we are going to see are different fees override. So I create a new event. Oh, it's a third event. Let's create a webinar. So, and this takes place 2015. We have some nice brief description again. Location we can keep empty, we don't need it here, or we can write in online, but it's also shown it's a webinar, so it's not shown anywhere, so it's not necessary to fill out anymore. Organizer stays the same. We switch on webinar. Webinar has more users, and we also allow multiple bookings at once. So this is as always, but now we want to override the different fees. So first thing, to use different fees, we have to turn it on. I set again the taxes, and I again set the fees. So for example, you have an event without children, then you don't need to offer that discount for anybody. Or we have a webinar, so you only have early bird tickets and nothing else. So you create an override down here. You maybe know that section because you could always override the booking mail text and so on down here. And the same is now, it is the same now for the different fees. So we set the fee title for the event. We have, as we said, early bird. Let's say 20%. 15% is discount, and we set again a date. Starting today. Valid till, let's again take 31 December. And we actually add another one. You just hit add, and it's automatically added with JavaScript a new line. So completely easy to add new fees to the event. And in this case, in this event, we have some discount for club members. Just 10%, but we have it, so we keep that like this. It's always valid. We don't fill it out anymore, just click on save. And when we now switch back to the front end, you're going to see here's our webinar. That's the new discount. So we completely overwritten the discount before. And if we book that one, it's automatically calculated and added here. So this way you can have different fees on per event base. Also, of course, working with this calculation here and later also in the front end. No, I choose PayPal. It wasn't that good idea. I'm going to be redirected to PayPal in some seconds. I'm going back. So that's what Matukio offers you. We have a complete new backend. We have a complete new different fee system. You can easily have multiple fees per event. But that's not all. I'm going to show you some other things which Matukio 3 brings and which is going to really optimize your workflow. As you have seen, I always typed in these things and it was a bit tricky, was a bit work. So for that, if you create, let's say, 20 events per day, and you don't like, for example, that start time, we now made all these things a setting. So you don't have to write it every time, copy and paste it every time. You can now set default values for these fields. You can do this in the configuration. Let's move there. And as you can see, this has also changed a lot. We have a complete new layout for the settings, also in this nice bootstrap radio layout. And we have a complete new tab called default values. And here you see the values from before. Let's say our default normal event starts at 18 o'clock and at 20 o'clock, and we want to be able to book them until 16 o'clock. Now we could also set a default title, a default short description, or default event location. Let's say and we can say we always have, for example, 20 participants. Here we always allow booking of more places. We can also set it to default a webinar. If you only offer webinars, just turn it on here and you never have to switch that again. That can save you a lot of time. And so on. You don't have to fill them out, only these you want. So switch back to events and you will see if we create a new one, all these settings we just made are pushed in here. Never again type in default things. If you have default things, just set them there and save your time. So we have seen a lot of the backend now. As you can see, we have put a lot of effort in completely rewriting it to MVC and Bootstrap layout and optimizing the workflow. We hope you are going to have much fun and much time savings with it. We have some other nice small things in Matukio 3. We, for example, optimized the language files. Translations should now be better. We have much more tooltips in the backend, helping you with some sort of fields. We have some new settings. Let's say take a look at some. For example, we have the setting to show the time zone. So you can now show the time zone next to any times in the front end. As you know, the time here is calculated on the user's time zone. So if the user sets his time zone, for example, in New York, you have GMT -6. And so on. So the times are not always the same. It's calculated on per user basis. This is important because your users might come from different countries and so on. So everybody should be able to set the time itself. But now you can show also the time zone. Just turns it to yes. And now after the time, the time zone is shown. I haven't switched the time zone here on this server, so it's GMT 0. But in most cases there would be the time zone depending on your server's time. Another new setting is that email BCC. You can add there an additional email address which will receive all outgoing emails, so that the administrator becomes all emails which are sent to participants and so on. Many users asked for that feature. Now it is. Just type in an email address there, and the email address will get all outgoing emails. We have also this new option that allows to set if organizers should be able to edit all events in the front end. That's that one. Currently, the default is that organizers in the front end are only able to edit their own events and create new ones depending on your ACL settings. Now you could choose that they should also be able to edit all other events. We have a new booking file type. Let's take a look in this section too. Also Bootstrap, of course. We have a new booking file type called spacer with text. It's like a spacer, it's a normal placeholder, but you can now have text for it. For example, we use it already for the default booking form. This one is a spacer with text, so you can have now some text between the booking fields to include some descriptions and so on. It's a nice addition if you want to inform your users about something. So we have now this nice new button, Reset. If you screwed up the settings, just click on Reset and say, I reset it to the default values. So everything is gone back to default, the database is dropped and reinserted, and all settings should be there then working again. We have the same thing for booking fields, so you can reset all these two. And we have the same thing for templates. So if you want to go back to the default, you have some problems, for example, or something is not working, you have an easy way to go back to the default, just hitting reset. So Matukio 3 is a rolling release. That means we're going to release as soon as possible and as often as possible. Because of that, Matukio 3 has not all features we have been planning for it. For example, what is going to come in the next couple of months, I'm going to give you a small overview about that. We are going to have recurring events very soon, already working on it. We are going to have automatic invoice generations. We're going to have some additional export templates. If you have ideas, wishes, just drop us a line. We are going to have an event slideshow preview, going to look very nice, and some other nice new models for advertising a single event, for advertising some organizer speakers, and so on. We're going to have some new payment methods. If you have any wishes for them, just drop us a line. Then we're going to integrate them. We are planning to integrate PDF ticket generation, including QR codes. You can have that at the moment too, but we are planning to send them automatically to the user after the booking has been paid. We're working on some nice new search engine friendly URLs. Some are already coming with 3. And with some other nice small additions making your life very easy. If you have any ideas, wishes or so, just drop us a line. We love to hear from you, and we are doing our best to integrate that into Matukio. So thanks for listening. Hope to hear back from you, and enjoy Matukio 3. Thank you.